Hi, this is Royal Ruby, and I'm going to do a Carsule tent setup video. Everybody's been requesting it. You won't be able to see every detail, but I'm going to try to walk you through it as best I can because we had the tripod set up. But as you can see, I took the, it's my crazy son, Jeremiah. We took the tripod or the Carsule tent out of the carry bag, and we laid it behind the van. And you want to make sure that the Mojix logo is on the tent is at the left rear tire. So you line it up like that and you just lay it out flat. That's the first thing you do. And then you have these 4 poles that you get that you put together, and you're going to slide the first 2 poles into the top of the tent. And there's little sleeves that are sewn into the tent, and you just literally just slide them in. But the most important thing is that you have that Mojix logo over there behind that left rear wheel. And you kind of spread the tent out. Now you can see right now I'm looking in the carry bag to make sure I have all the parts that I need to put the tent together. I should have done that before I even got this video started. But as you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm taking that first pole and I'm sliding it in to the sleeve. And as you slide it in, you want to make sure that the end of that pole rests on the top of the tent. And you'll see me do this here. Slide it in. It's going to rest right there at the top of the tent. You want to leave it like that. And you're going to do the same thing with the other pole because you have 2 on each side. So now you're going to take the other pole and slide it into that sleeve. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to slide it in and let the top of the pole rest over the top of the tent. And there's a reason for that. So you want to make sure you do it. Because I've seen people set this tent up and it doesn't work if you don't do it that way. So then you want to go to the other side. Now you're going to put the bottom pole in. So as you can see, I'm sliding that bottom pole into the sleeve on the bottom of the tent. And what you do is you don't put it into the little bracket hole. You let it rest beside that bracket hole because there's these little bracket holes that hold these poles in place. You're going to attach them all at the very end. So now you're just sliding the poles in. You're letting them rest beside the bracket hole, not in the hole. And then you're going to lower that side of the tent by holding on to the top of the poles and then bringing it down slowly and resting the tent back on the ground. There you go. Now, the next thing is you're going to attach the top pole into that little bracket hole that I told you about. You have these little brackets, and you'll see when you get your tent, you just slide each end of your tent pole into that bracket. It's like a little hole. And you slide them into the holes. I have a little trouble with this one, so I have to get Jeremiah to come and help me. For some reason, I was having trouble getting it into the hole. Probably because I didn't have my glasses on. Probably couldn't even see the hole. So Jeremiah comes around and he lends me a hand here. So I'm just going to attach those. Sometimes you have to push them in pretty hard. Give them a little tap. There you go. And now you're actually going to raise the tent, but not that way. He's raising it the wrong way. You want to raise it up towards the logo side, where the logo is, because you're going to raise it up, as you can see me doing here, just like that. And then somebody else can pull the bottom out. That's why it's good to have 2 people. You're just going to slide it out behind the van. You're going to attach the top of those poles on each corner. Going to go around and attach them. That's what we're doing now. We're attaching the top of those poles to each corner. There's 4 on each corner at the top and 4 on each corner at the bottom. So you're just attaching them into the holes. That's what we're doing here. And it's easier when you have 2 people, because if it's windy, especially It's really hard to control the tent by yourself because it is pretty big. So I find that I like to use this tent when I'm camping with somebody else, because when I'm by myself, I usually just take the Alvantor tent and set that up because it just pops up and it's so much easier. The Carsule tent is awesome though because it's bigger than the Alvantor tent, and it also attaches to the back of the van, and it has these really cool windows that close all around it, whereas the Alvantor tent is open all the time with screens. It doesn't have any kind of privacy in there. So now we're going to attach some of the bottom ones, the poles, to the bottom holes. But we decided it's easier if you first slide it over and attach it to the van. So that's what we're doing now. We're sliding it over, lining it up with the back of the van, lining it up, sliding it over, keeping it on the tarp because it's good to have a tarp underneath it. That's what we're doing now. We're just kind of lining it up on the tarp. So you can see down in the left corner, we do not have those bottom poles attached yet. We do that last. After we, well, he's attaching one now right there. He's attaching one of the bottom poles to the hole right there. He's doing those now. When you're doing it by yourself, though, you want to attach it to the van first and then attach the bottom poles. But if you have a helper, he can go around and attach the bottom ones. Now I'm going to go inside the tent itself, and I'm going to lift up the hatch there to the van. I'm going to bring it down and throw the big black flappy thing over the hatch. That's what we're doing now. Bring the hatch down, throw the flap over the top of the hatch, like that. You can see us taking that big black flappy piece of fabric. Now it's leaning to the left a little, but once you get that hatch underneath of there, it's going to pop right up. You'll see how quickly it pops up. See, it just pops right into shape. There you go. As soon as you have that hatch, that black flappy thing over the hatch, now I go inside and there's a little belt in there that you attach to underneath your hatch so that it reinforces it even more. So I'm going in there now and I'm attaching that. There we go. It's getting all secure in there. And now it's pretty well attached except for the bottom poles. We still have to attach the bottom poles. So now we're going to go around, make sure it's lined up, make sure it's close enough to the van. And we're going to attach these bottom, you see those bottom poles have to be attached. That's like the last thing you do. So he's going to do the one side, I'm going to do the other side. But it ends up I make him do all of them because I can't get them in the hole for whatever reason. I think it's because I don't have my glasses on. So rule number one, if you need reading glasses, make sure you have them on when you're doing this project. But the whole process takes about 20 minutes to set the tent up. It's not really that hard to do. So now he's going to come around and lend me a hand because I have no idea what I'm doing, really. I know what I'm doing, but I can't see. So he's being patient. So I finally give up and say, go ahead, Jeremiah. Attach that for me. So I'm basically attaching the bottom of the poles into those bottom holes, these little bracket holes. Now sometimes those brackets come off, so you do get extra brackets with the Carsule tent, but you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver. Always carry that with you when you have this tent, because in order to take the brackets on and off, if you need a new one, if it gets bent or whatever, you need to have that Phillips head, because they have two little screws, but they're Phillips screws, so heads. So make sure you have a Phillips screwdriver with you for this tent, just in case one of those brackets should pop off. I think one did pop off for us when we were doing it. It's really easy to put it back on. It's not a hassle. So yeah. Also, the little ends at the poles sometimes get bent, so they provide extra ones of those as well. You can replace those really easy as well. So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to roll this little thing up, this little side window. All of them need to be rolled up or down. This one gets rolled up. Then there's these little doohickeys that you use to just attach them. It's really easy to do. And Jeremiah is struggling with that bottom pole. Apparently one of them came out. So now he's putting it back in again. And he was having trouble finding the hole to put it through. So I came around to help him. But he found it. He figured it out. And then I came around the other side to make sure it was coming out. And it was. And so I had him come around and attach it. So he's going to attach it. And I'll finish putting the window up. There we go. So after you do that, there are these ropes that go inside the Carsule tent that go and support the ceiling. They're little guy ropes. And they hook like a big X across the inside of the ceiling of the tent. So you want to locate those two ropes, which is what I'm doing now. I found them. I'm going inside the tent. And you just have these little loops inside the tent on each corner at the ceiling. And the ropes have little hooks on them. And you're just going to attach the one little hook into the loop and then take it across like a big X diagonal and attach it to the other loop. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other corner, only when you get to the middle, you're going to crisscross the ropes so that they have like a little knot in the middle so that they easily connect. So now I'm going to do the other side, connecting it to the corner. Then when you get in the middle, like I said, you're going to kind of just let it loop around once. The inside. There you go. Now you're going to bring it to the corner. And you're going to hook it into the little loop. The hook goes into the little loop. I was struggling getting the hook into the loop because at this point it's pretty taut. And I'm not real tall, but I finally got it in there. And Jeremiah is doing the guy lines. So basically he's starting the first guy line. And the outside of the Carsule tent has little, loops that you can hook into. And then you stake it down with these special yellow stakes, spiral stakes. You get 4 of them with the tent. And now I'm putting the magnets on. You get the magnets with the Carsule tent. And then I also use additional magnets. So you just take the magnets and attach the black part, the flappy part that's kind of flapping in the wind there. You want to just attach that with magnets to the outside of your van or your SUV. Jeremiah's getting his guy rope ready. As you can see, he takes the hook of the guy rope and he hooks it into the loop that's on the Carsule tent. And meanwhile, I'm doing the magnets. So it looks like he got one guy line up already, and now he's doing the second one. Pulling it so in case a high wind comes along, it won't blow our tent away. And I'm finishing up the magnets. And so now what I'll do is I'll get the other set of magnets and go to the other side. First, I make sure I have it all secure. And you can see on the inside of the Carsule tent, you can see out to the outside because that other side is not attached. It's not magnetized attached yet. So obviously you won't have that big gap there when you get to the other side and attach the magnets. Take your time with this because you just want to make sure that it's secure so you don't have buggage. You don't get bugs in there. I feel pretty good about it. So now I'm going to take the other set of magnets and go around to the other side. And you get 2 sets, 2 strings of magnets. with the Carsule tent, but I always use, there's the little yellow spirally stakes that come with the tent. You can see them in his hand there. He's starting on the other side now with the guy lines, and I'm on the other side doing the magnets. So now I'm done with the magnets. Now I'm going to put, you get a little carpet. I'm going to put this in, and then you're done. That's it.